Well, Portland burnt out on street racing. Complaints as dangerous driving runs loose on the streets with no police response. It's 10 o'clock. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jeff Gianola, and with protests continuing each night, another demonstration on the streets this past weekend. Street racing in one of the biggest problem areas, an industrial park in North Portland. Our Wayne Haverly has been talking to employees there who are frustrated and say the situation simply has overwhelmed police. Right, Wayne?
Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. We're out here on Lombard in that industrial park area where the street racers have been gathering by the hundreds, sometimes the thousands. That's according to some of the people who work down here. In fact, they're here right now. We've moved a few blocks away because they're already at it. And you'll see what they did last night. Just take a look. A huge, unmasked, packed-in crowd watches in delight as a street racer burns out and drifts in a circle, dangerously close to the front row. This was the scene Sunday night in North Portland.
I mean, it's thousands of people down here this last weekend. It just seems like they have no concern for anybody but, having fun.
It's not fun for folks like Sky Holmes, who spend hours the day after cleaning up the mess, which includes car parts, piles of tires, broken beer bottles, and even feces.
Burnout's all down here, too.
So, I mean, this looks like it might be dirt, but this is just...
Tire.
That's just rubber.
Yeah.
That's all that is. And it's everywhere. And this would catch fire too. And rubber can burn in other ways. 2 weeks ago, a brush fire started during one of the street racing gatherings. You can see the blackened grass right next to several buildings. What happens when you call for the police?
No response half the time. Saturday I called because of a street race, because of the drifting happening down here. And I got a call 45 minutes later saying that they're not able to respond.
A Portland police spokesman tells KOIN 6 that street racing is a dangerous problem, but the big gatherings are resource intensive to address, and many times the police just don't have enough officers to respond.
The police need their funding back, for one. Without the funding, they don't have the manpower, and without the manpower, they can't come down here. And they're not going to send one officer when there's 500 plus people down here.
And I'm told those street racers, they have been down here every weekend and most weeknights since those protests began. In fact, they even have flyers that they make up for these races. And last weekend, they had food carts that were down here feeding them as well. Jeff?